You are awesome in this place, mighty God. You are awesome in this place, Abba Father. You are worthy of our praise. To you alone we praise. You are awesome in this place, mighty God. You are awesome in this place, mighty God. You are awesome in this place, Abba Father. You are worthy of our praise. To you alone we pray. You are awesome in this place, mighty. Thank you, Lord. Holy, holy, holy are you, Lord. Holy, holy, holy are you, Lord. The elders and angels bow. The redeemed, we worship you now. Holy, holy, holy are you, Lord. Can you hear the sound of heaven? Like the sound of many waters. It's the sound of worship coming from his throne. There are cries of adoration as men from every nation lift your voice to make his glory known, singing, holy, holy, holy are you, Lord. Holy, holy, holy are you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. The elders and angels bow. The redeemed, we worship you now. Holy, holy, holy are you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are grateful for today. If you are online with us, share the page with someone. Let them hear and let them know that Daddy is here to bless our lives. Oh, man. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. We are grateful. Yes. What a privilege. What an opportunity to be here once again to learn from the feet of the apostle. Wow. Today is April 22nd, 2021. And what a blessing. Today has been a good day. I mean, the sun is out in Connecticut. And then it's even too hot for me right now. Because I got my heat on. I got heat on, and then the sun is also out. So today is a beautiful day. And I believe in Ghana, we don't have to talk about the heat. Because that one is a perpetual, stream. And wherever you are also listening to us from, God bless you for tuning in. You can share the page with someone. You can share it on your Facebook page. Let someone hear about the message of the cross. Let someone also hear about a marriage and how to shape up their marriage, how to have good information concerning the greatest weapon the enemy is always using against the people of God. You know, Daddy said one time that the marriage is the best spiritual platform that you can fight for or you can win for. So when there is a broken home, then you know the enemy has an advantage already over the person. So we are learning all these things to avoid the many traps that the enemy is planning against us, and also the life that we have to live. I was explaining to someone that when it comes to the marriage, if you really understand the realm of marriage, you really understand the meaning of the Godhead, because that is where you can see that three personalities can dwell in one. And then now you have that is why after God joining the man and the woman, never said that they are two, and said the two shall become one, because the principle of the three personality coming together to be one is the same as the union of the marriage.
That's right.
I mean, that is here. So let me pause with my little information.
Oh, it's powerful. It's powerful. Yeah.
Digging, you're welcome.
Thank you, Papa.
Okay. I mean, Dickon did a video and posted it on Facebook, and it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. Yeah, he was talking about marriage as well. He was talking about 10, I think
10 bad reasons to get married.
10 bad reasons to get married. 10 bad reasons. And every point he gave was very outstanding. And I was really blessed. I've listened to it twice, and I think I've been, because marriage is something some of us are very conscious of and very careful of, because when it comes to the passion to preach, you may have it. When it comes to the crusade grounds, you may have it. When it comes to the money to buy things, you may have it. But when you do not have a happy home, no matter the anointing, so it's something that we have been very circumspect about. And we bless the Lord that we are having this level of information to make and to do the right thing. Amen. All right. So if you are joining in, I don't know how the topic today is an amazing experience already. Daddy is going to be a mind-blowing experience. The things that weaken the foundation of marriage. So you know that it's going to be an outstanding time. All right. Deacon, you are here. Anything you want to say?
I'm just ready to soak in as a sponge. The topic is heavy and loaded in itself, so I just want to open my ears as a ready writer and let Daddy just talk to us and see what God is gonna do with us today. So,
okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. So we wouldn't want to waste much time. It's 3:13, and then that's American Standard Time or Eastern Time. So you're welcome to be part of the broadcast. Please enjoy to the end. Daddy, we are grateful to have you here once again. We are very blessed. Please, we have come to learn. So educate us and bless our lives. You're welcome, Daddy.
Thank you very much. We thank God for this opportunity, as always, to share. Last week, we looked at attitudes that make for a good marriage. And today, we want to look at things that weaken the foundation of a marriage. We cannot overemphasize the importance of foundations. And when you bring it to the marriage relationship, it is something that is extremely important. And the foundation is what carries the entire marriage. You know, the longevity of the marriage depends on the foundation. The strength of the marriage depends on the foundation. The beauty of the marriage will depend on the foundation, and a whole lot of other things. And so it's very important how we lay the foundation for marriage, and then also certain things that we do, how they affect the foundation, how they can affect the foundation of the marriage. And in Psalm 11, verse 3, the Bible says, if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? Now, the righteous we know is connected to God. And yes, so it says that the righteous is helpless without a foundation. If the foundation is destroyed, because the foundation is what carries everything that is on it. You know, so it's very important. Um, in the Bible, we see how God lays foundations. We see that right from the beginning. Bible says in the beginning was the word. When we say in the beginning, we are talking about at the foundation. At the foundation was the word. So in the beginning, God began with a word. The foundation that he laid was the word, you know. And so the word is a sure foundation that we have to lay for everything that we do. In the beginning was the word. Therefore, the word is a very sure foundation. Now we cannot talk about foundation without talking about the centrality of Christ. If we can make the marriage according to what the Bible says and according to God's standards, if we can get a kingdom marriage, then we must make sure that the foundation is Christ, that Christ is the center of the marriage. Now, one of the things that you will do own marriage is not to make Christ the center of your marriage right from the time that you start the relationship. That is what it should be, because the relationship too is the foundation of the marriage. So right from the time you meet the person that you want to settle down with, you must make sure that you set the right tone. And the right tone is that you must make sure that your union, your relationship is a threefold cord. The Bible says a threefold cord is not easily broken. And the threefold cord is you, your partner, and Christ. So you, your partner, and Christ. It's like a triangle. You know, the triangle. The two ends of the triangle, the base, they are you and your partner. Then you are all, it all head rises up into the apex, the head. So you are relating with each other. Then each of you two has a relationship with the Lord. Then it becomes a threefold cord. That means that right from the beginning, the marriage must be situated in the context of the word. The word must have rule over the marriage right from the beginning. You must seek answers from the Bible. You must govern your relationship with biblical principles. Now, believers who um, want to get married, this is a very important uh, thing that I'm talking about. If you want to get married as a believer, you have met somebody, you want to get married, make sure that you abide by biblical principles in your relationship. It can affect your marriage. For instance, I always say this, and I always say, and let me also repeat that premarital sex, sex before marriage, is something that sows seeds of mistrust in the foundation of the marriage. It can weaken the foundation of the marriage. You know, sex before marriage. When you want to get married, and then you start with having sex before the marriage covenant, you are digging into the foundation of your marriage, because it's not based on biblical principles. Now, when you read Genesis chapter 2, you see the principles that are set forth in Genesis chapter 2. from verse 24 to 25. It says, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Now you see here the principle that was set forth here. It says that the man and his wife were naked and not ashamed. It did not say the man and the woman, or the man and his girlfriend. It's a man and his wife. So two people in a relationship, you must make sure, you must make every effort with the help of God to make sure that you do not engage in sex before marriage. It can destroy the foundation of your relationship. Apart from that, there are certain attitudes that can also work against the very foundation of the relationship. There are certain attitudes, and these attitudes, they show in our words, they show in our actions, and therefore they are not only attitudes are mindsets, but then those mindsets, they inform our actions and our words. Now, one very bad attitude that can fight against your marriage from at the very foundation is a feeling of over importance. So we are talking about pride and ego, feeling of over importance. When one party thinks that the other party is just lucky to have him or her, that attitude can weaken the foundation of the marriage. You know, you are lucky I married you, or I'm doing you a favor by marrying you. You may not use those same words, but your attitude, if you have a condescending attitude, that's what it means. That you are lucky, or I am doing you a favor. The woman can tell the man that, I'm doing you a favor by accepting your proposal. The man too can tell the woman that I am doing you a favor by marrying you. Now, that attitude can eat the very foundation of the marriage, because for a relationship like marriage, there must be mutual acceptance, there must be interdependence. We must both be happy and blessed to have each other. We must be happy and blessed to have each other. You are not doing me a favor by marrying me. And we must both need each other to succeed in the marriage. So the attitude that I don't need you, you need me, that attitude will always fight against the marriage. You must know that you need your partner needs you. Now, even Jesus, who is God, who is the head, and we, the church, we are the body. The head does not say it does not need the feet or the body. When you read 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 21, it talks about that. It says that, and the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Now the head refers to Christ. Christ is the head of the body. The feet refers to the church. In Ephesians 1:21, it talks about he has put all things under his feet, giving him to be Lord over all things, even the church, which is his body. So the head cannot even say that he does not need the feet. Christ does not say that he doesn't need the body, the church. So when you make statements, or you carry out actions that depict or that portray that you don't need the person, is the person who needs you, that is pride. And pride also eats the foundation of the marriage. We must come to a point where we know that Adam was whole. Adam was not deficient, he was whole. He had God, everything was in place. But God said it's not good for a man to be alone. Not because Adam was deficient. He was not necessarily deficient, but he needed a vital connection. to another person because of the assignment that God gave him. The assignment came in Genesis 2:15, and then the woman also came in Genesis 2:18. And so there was a vital connection that he needed to have with the woman, in order for him to be able to carry out what God had given him to carry out. So we must both be crazy about each other. In a relationship where one is overly excited and the other is not, it's lopsided. There are some relationships you see that it is only one partner that is always, thinking about the relationship, always making sure it does not break, always apologizing. Even when he or she is right, he has to apologize because the other party, he feels that the other party is doing him a favor by marrying him. So he has to apologize. He has to be the one to make sure the relationship is sustained. That is not good. Both parties must be committed to the relationship. Both parties must know that we need each other to survive. It's a it's a relationship of survival. I need you. You also need me. I'm not the only one who needs you. You also need me, and both we need each other to survive. So it's not like one party should be the one who is doing everything, and then the other party is just enjoying, that the tickling of his or her ego. Now, another attitude that can also fight against relationship at the very foundation of the marriage is the attitude that you are not my first choice, or you were not my first choice. You are not my ideal man. You are not my ideal woman. It's going to fight against the very foundation of your marriage. I was listening to somebody a man of God who recently got married, and then he was saying that uh, the kind of woman he wanted is not the kind of woman God gave him. So the one that the one that he married was not the one that he really wanted. And he went ahead to describe the kind of woman that he really wanted to marry. And I said,
What?
making a very big mistake.
Wow.
I mean, if even it's like that, it should never come out of your mouth.
Because now you're married.
Because now you are married. Keep it to yourself. You see, because you are not helping your spouse. Now you are saying that you wanted to marry, let's say, a dark woman, and then God says you should marry a fair woman. Now you have married a fair woman, but that you know that your real preference was for a dark woman. So now, what is your fair wife? How is she going to feel?
Hmm.
If you don't take care, she's going to feel inferior, not not measuring up for the rest of her life. And it becomes worse anytime she sees you having something to do with a woman that was clearly falls within your preference. Because if, let's say, you said, oh, I wanted a short woman, but then now I've gotten married to a tall woman. Now this tall woman, when she sees you with a short woman, she gets insecure because she knows that she was really not your first choice.
Hmm.
No matter what, once you marry or you want to marry the person, you have to be careful of your words. Words take very long to be gotten rid of. You can just speak, and then you may think that, oh, I just spoke, I've left. But the words can keep hanging over a person for years. And the person is going to review your actions, against the backdrop of the word that you spoke. If it's a marriage, your spouse is going to review he or she is going to view all your actions through the lenses of the words you uttered when you were even in a relationship. Let's say that in a relationship before you got married, you told your spouse to be, well, me, I'm not really interested in a woman like your type. I don't. I think it's God who is pushing me to marry you. I don't really like it. I mean, those words, you are hitting against the very foundation of your marriage. And you don't be surprised when such marriages they don't last, because one thing about human beings is that uh, what the labels you put on people, if they don't get any help, those labels stick, especially when those labels attack their personality. That's why even with children, you've got to be very careful the words you release to your children. If you call them stupid, they are going to grow to honor that word. So that they are going to grow to be stupid. If you call them lazy, they are going to grow to honor that word. Sometimes words that we use to tag people's personality, they stick in their mind. There's a difference between saying somebody is putting up a lazy attitude and then saying somebody is lazy. The two are not the same. When you say you are lazy, it's a tag. You are tagging the person. So we have to be very careful the words we say. If you don't want trouble in your marriage, be careful the words you say. Now, the next one is the attitude the third one is the attitude that you are just an appendage to my life. You are not a part of my life. Now, that attitude is going to follow the marriage for a very long time. See, anything you are doing, you have to set the tone right from the courtship stage. You have to set the tone. If you create the impression that the person is not a real part of your life, but the person is just an appendage, the person is just something or some when you want to release tension, when you are bored and want to release. But apart from that, the person is not a part of your life. The person does not feel connected to you. And how does a person feel connected to you? The person feels connected to you when you let him or her in, when you open the door for them, when they become part of your life, when they know your plans, they know your thoughts, when you reason with them, when you engage them, when you seek their opinion, when you ask them questions, when you also try to enter their life, when you show genuine interest in what is happening in their life. Now, if that is not like that, and it's like, well, uh, I'm only managing you, you are not really important to me, my career is more important than you, my ministry is more important than you, my finance is more important than you, you are just no, you see, the thing is that we are going to be in this thing together. Now, the attitude that you are showing to me is that I'm just going to be an appendage to your life. I'm really not going to be part of your life, because even now we are not married, but you'll see that, yeah, there are certain. I don't know your plans. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what you are looking forward to. I don't know. I'm not a part of it. We are in a courtship. We are in courtship, but I don't know your plan. I don't know anything about what you want to do. I'm not. I'm not a part. I am just an appendage. Now, that attitude will show in neglect. Neglect. So, that person that you are going to marry, do you see or do you value the person as somebody who is worthy of your attention, worthy of your time, worthy of somebody you can ask his or her opinion concerning things, or is it somebody that you just think that, oh, he's there, oh, she's there? No. If you do that, it's going to have an effect on your marriage. A time will come where you may want the person to be expressive, you may want the person to show support, but right from the beginning, the person felt excluded, alienated. As right from the beginning, you alienated a person, and the person will have trouble. You have a lot of difficulty fitting into whatever you are doing. So marriage is like somebody going alongside with you, holding somebody's hand. So we are going together. It's a journey we're embarking on. And this journey we're embarking on, the destination is a marriage relationship. And as we're embarking on this journey, it's together. We are doing things together. Now, I'm not saying that if you are not married, you should be doing things like a married couple. No. What I'm saying is that the mentality that we are together, that mentality should be created, that we are together, that what affects you affects me, that I'm interested in what is going on in your life. Not that I want you to know what is going on in my life. I don't want to know what's going on in your life. I'm interested. See, when you are having a challenge, the way I show support, the way I take it on as my own, that will let you know that I feel you are already a part of my life, already a part of my life. Now, I don't usually advocate that people should enter into business partnerships and all that before marriage. You know, I've always been saying that it's not the best, especially when you don't know, you have quite a long journey, you have quite a journey into the marriage relationship. It's not the best. But obviously, there must be things that bring the two of you together for you to know that we're involved. Even if you are not involved literally, you are involved in your mind. You know what is going on. You give moral support, you give support, you get involved. Focus on each other, make sure you bring out the best out of each other. That is how we build a solid foundation. Because the courtship period is for building. It's for building. It's not necessarily for studying or for studying each other. No, no. You are still, even in marriage, you'll still be learning. You should be learning more things about each other. But primarily, the courtship period is for building each other up, building your spiritual aspects, building the social aspects, building the emotional aspects, building the friendship, building the union, the being together, doing together aspects of the marriage. There are many people who started learning how to be friends with their spouses after marriage, but it should be before marriage. You must learn how to the two of you should be able to blend before the marriage, should be able to flow into each other before the marriage, should be able to there should be that chemistry before the marriage, that friendship before the marriage. When there's that friendship before the marriage, it adds, it strengthens the foundation of the marriage. It should really strengthen the foundation of the marriage, because when all is said and done, you marry somebody who you can say that we have become the best of friends. There's a point where you will not know each other, but before you marry, you must have become the best of friends, so that when you marry, you know that you are in this relationship with your friend, not only your partner, not roles, not settling into roles, husband roles, wife roles, but a friend. So the same way you can take a joke from a friend, you can take a joke from your wife or your husband. The same way a friend can offend you and then you can easily overlook it. You can easily overlook any offense that your wife or your husband will commit against you. You can easily overlook it if the friendship bond is there. You can have you can agree to disagree if the friendship bond is there. You can disagree without becoming awkward if the friendship bond is there. So a lot must go into it. That's why during the time for the relationship, there must be a lot of conversation, getting to know you getting to know me. There should be a lot of transparency, there should be. I mean, we should have that friendship to strengthen the bond. Now, so words are also very important, but then another important thing that also affects the foundation of marriage is handling information. Information handling. Now, many people that, like I said, words are not. See, words can stay in the atmosphere for years. See, words that you release to people, it can affect how they react, how they go about things in the relationship. Handling information wisely, receiving information, very important, very important, extremely important. For instance, for instance, you are in a relationship with somebody, you are going to marry the person, you hope to marry the person. Now, one or two people in your family don't like the person, or they've passed a certain comment about the person you are going to marry. You should be able to sieve that information, because when you get married, he or she will have to necessarily relate with that family member. Let me use real examples. Like, let's say you are going to get married, then let's say your parents or one of your parents that doesn't like your partner. You know, eventually you are going to be able to convince them to allow you to marry him or her. But if you tell him or her right now before marriage that maybe your father, your mother, or maybe this uncle of yours does not like him or her, that thing is going to stay. After marriage, you will see that he or she is going to need that relationship, but the relationship has already been destroyed by your inability to handle information, to receive it. It's not everything that you hear that you just pass it on to your partner just in the raw state. No, you must see it, especially if it's coming from people that he or she will necessarily have to relate with. Otherwise, you spoil the relationship before it gets there. Let's say you are going to get married, somebody passes a comment that is unfavorable concerning your partner. You should not tell him, because the person who passed that comment may even have passed the comment in jest, or pass the comment in passing, or pass the comment even because of the mood current at that point. Now you also pass the comment on to your partner, and remember, your partner does not know the person as much as you do. So you create enmity between the two even before the marriage starts. He is never going to be able to accept your your family because of that. It will take years to repair that damage, because let's say it's coming to the family, you know, that is new, and then you know the people in the family, but then you don't see the things, the comments they pass and all that. So it's very important. Those things can weaken the foundation of the marriage. They can weaken the foundation of that. They are just like comments that you also pass, comments you also pass on them. Never think that they will forget those comments, especially if it's got to do with his or her personality, and if it's like a tag you are putting on the person, you must be sure. That's why we must weigh our words, we must couch our words, we must make sure that our words are full of grace, to minister grace, edification to our hearers. Bible says, let no corrupt communication come out of your mouth, but that which edifies, that it might minister grace to those who hear you. If we cultivate that habit, then we can lay a very strong foundation. Because words, believe you me, words create the atmosphere in a home. Words. If you release bitter words, abusive words, because the atmosphere is created in the psyche, in the mindset, and the mindset is shaped by words. The intangibles, they are very important. We may think that what makes a marriage is the tangibles, No, the intangibles are more important than the tangibles. What you did not say, but you said. See, what you did not say, but you said. Like the Bible says, yes, the Bible says in Isaiah 40 about Lucifer, you have said in your heart,
Even though it did not come out of your mouth.
you have said in your heart. But you know that when it's in your heart, it will always show in your attitude, in your action. So we have to learn to keep our words. Then lack of consistency is also going to affect the foundation of the marriage. We have to practice consistency. We must be consistent with the things that we do. At least there are things we believe, and then we must be consistent with our beliefs. We must be consistent with our beliefs, our convictions, our absolutes. These three things: ABC, absolutes, beliefs, convictions. There must be some consistency. Without consistency, nobody will take you seriously in this life. When you say this today, then you say this tomorrow. You know, there are some people you can never know what they are saying or what they think, because they will say this today, then tomorrow they will say the opposite. It's like they keep changing their mind based on what you think or the situation, you know. But then there must be some consistency, at least for certain things. You must be consistent. People must know that this is your stand. This is your stand, you know, and then stay by your absolute. There are some certain things that are absolutes, like we don't compromise on them, you know. We must be consistent on that. Let a person know what your convictions are, you know, the things you believe. uh, when you give your word, let your word carry weight. Billy Graham was asked why he they said he was a man of integrity, and I think they rated him as the most honest pastor or something. Then he said the reason is that he never gives a word he cannot keep. He keeps every word he gives. So if he says, I'll do this, he will do it. So before he gives you the promise, he must make sure that he has what it takes to fulfill the promise. Now, sometimes in our lives, because of certain uncertainties, we can also be inconsistent. But as much as possible, we must make sure that we maintain some consistency in our lives, in our words, in our speech. We must be consistent. We must be people who carry out what we say. We do what we say. That is what builds trust. See, trust is built when you do as you say. Uh, Faith can be built just what on somebody's testimony, but trust is built on personal experience. When we see that you have done what you say you will do, that's trust. You know, in our relationship with God, you can have faith in God based on what you heard somebody say about what God has done, or based on what you know in the Bible about God. So you have faith in God, believe in God, but your trust in God is subjective. You trust Him because of what you have seen Him do personally in your life. Now, let's say you are standing on a story building, and then God says, "Jump, I'll catch you." Now, as you are jumping, that is faith. It carries an element of risk. You are jumping because you believe that He's God. Why? Because you know that, oh, so and so jumped and then He caught him. So if I jump, He will catch me. But then after you have jumped and He has caught you, the next time when He says jump, you will not be operating by faith. You will be operating out of trust. So that your faith has moved to trust. Because now you have experienced that he's able to catch you. So trust is built on consistency. If you want a person to trust you, be consistent. Be consistent. When you fail to keep your promise, you must admit it, apologize, and then make amends. You know, but by all means, be committed to the things you say, carry them out. Lack of transparency can also affect the foundation of the marriage. Lack of transparency can affect the foundation of the marriage. There are certain vital information that we should not hold on to them before marriage. They should be known. I mean, there are certain things that it's better people know and then they decide than to keep them away from them. Feel they have been lied to or they have been cheated. If you, let's say that your status should be known. I mean, somebody was going to marry somebody, the person did not tell the person that, oh, the person told the person that, oh, at maybe, let's say, example, Kenya University, I've completed Kenya University. The person was actually living on the campus, not knowing he was living there just like that, just squatting in a friend's room. And the lady too had been meeting this guy on campus. And all this while the guy was not on the KUST campus, but the guy kept telling that, oh, he was on campus. That's dishonest. After marriage, then she realized that the guy did not go to KUST. It was a lie, and it was a whole lot of issues. People sometimes even have children and they will not even disclose to their partners. Then in marriage, they will get to know a whole lot of issues. There are other things that, it's not everything that you can spill out before marriage, but at least the vital ones, health issues, you must not hide them. They can affect the foundation of the marriage. You must not hide them. Let the person know whatever it is. Let the person, like I give an example, if you are a lady and they have removed your womb, for instance, your womb has been removed. You know that is a fact. You can't hide it forever. It will by all means be seen. If you hide it from the guy and you enter the marriage, it's going to be hell. I mean, you are never going to be happy in a marriage. He's never going to trust you. He's always going to think you are hiding something because that's treacherous. It's actually treacherous. It's like you've hidden something that he would have needed to use to take a decision from him. The same thing applies to the man. That if you have children, let the woman know that I have a child before you get married. If there's something that is you are in that she needs to know before the marriage, let her know before the marriage. There are many other things that they are not important, they're not important. But you will know the things that when he later finds out is going to create problems. It's going to create problems. So let the person know right from the foundation, the beginning. When the person knows and the person wants to go ahead with the relationship or the marriage, then you know that you are starting from a platform of transparency, because transparency is one trait that you will need throughout your marriage life. Transparency. There are many people in marriages, their spouses do not know what they are doing. I was reading an article by a banker, a retired banker, and he was saying that there are many people with money in certain accounts. They died, and their spouses did not know that they had such monies in those accounts. And those accounts end up, lying there for a long time. And sometimes people will just take the money, those who know will just take, after a long time, nobody's showing up, they'll just take the money because it's like there was nobody who knew. That's lack of transparency. So right now, if God forbid you die, you have secrets that your spouse does not know. You have secret relationship that he or she does not know. Not bad relationship, right? I mean healthy ones, but he or she does not know. You have secret projects that he or she does not know. Those things, they affect the very foundation, because when it's found out, it creates the impression that you are a dangerous person, because if you could keep this thing away from me for all these years that we were in caution, and that you never told me, and now I'm finding out for the first time, and it's like, wow. I mean, there are people who already are in relationships, and then the relationship have not been broken, or they are not out of the relationship, and they are also entertaining another relationship. Maybe one is outside the country, one is inside the country, and they entertain another relationship, And so sometimes you realize that people, even at the wedding ceremony, you see people threatening to come and, get crash the occasion, and, just disrupt everything to avoid all that. And it's because maybe they did not tell this person. There was one such, okay, I think it was a movie or something, but it was some short skit, and the lady went to the ceremony to disrupt event, and then she was saying to the hearing of all those gathered that this man is my husband, lawfully wedded husband, and he just left home about 2 weeks ago, and he was in another state, another region, uh, performing a marriage ceremony with another woman, and the woman did not know that the man had a wife. Now, such a marriage will not last. It will not last. So we have to be transparent right from the beginning. Now, if you don't have any ulterior motive, there's no reason not to be transparent. It's only when you have an ulterior motive that you will not be transparent. But if you don't have any ulterior motive, then there's no reason not to be transparent. Now, another attitude or thing that can also work against the foundation of the marriage is comparison. Comparison can work against the foundation of the marriage. When you are always comparing your partner to somebody else, you are taking the grave of the relationship. When you are always doing that on a consistent basis, you may think that you want him or her to change or conform to a particular mode, but as a rule, never compare your spouse, your partner to another person. If there's something you want him or her to do, let let them know. Let them know that this is what you want them to do, or this is what you think they should be doing. But don't compare them and say, look at what so and so is doing. Why can't you do the same thing? It breeds unhealthy competition. They will quit trying. They'll be discouraged. They will feel they will never measure up. Because you are always comparing them with so and so, especially people who have had previous relationships. It's very important that you get all previous experiences to the background or out of your mind, and then relate with this present person, one that you have met. Relate with him or her on merit, on his or her merit. There are some people, the slightest thing, they'll say, well, this what this other person did, and I was telling him or her, and then she was not minding me, and the relationship was broken, and you are also doing the same thing. Now, when it happens that way, the person will always feel that he doesn't measure up, because you are comparing him to your former partner. Sometimes you say, oh, my former fiancé used to buy things for me, used to do. Now you don't buy things. No, you are making a mistake. You are making a mistake. You have, and a very serious mistake. because when you do that, the person will begin to feel that even though you are not yet married or you are not in that relationship, there's an imaginary competitor. And there can be imaginary competition. People, most of the competition people go through, they're imaginary. They are competing with an image that somebody has projected to them, whether it's a parent, it's a pastor, it's a spouse, it's a teacher. The children, for instance, always compete with imaginary competitors that their parents give them. Maybe sometimes the way you criticize them or the way you compare them to other people's children, you want them to conform, and most of the time you will see that the person will rather develop some resentment towards the other person, not necessarily learning, because you are using this other person to reduce him or her. So comparison is very bad, and as much as possible we should make sure that it is out of our lives. Otherwise, they can affect the foundation of the relationship. Really, really affect the foundation of the relationship. Then, bitterness. Bitterness is something that can also affect the foundation of a relationship. Bitterness. Now, anger. Anger is there. Everybody gets angry. But sometimes when anger is trapped inside, it becomes offense. Offense will lead to resentment. Resentment can lead to isolation, or it can also lead to bitterness. And bitterness is when the anger has resulted into a state where you literally can even, do something to hurt the other person. Bitterness is a very dangerous thing in the life of a believer, and it can affect your marriage foundation. No matter where the bitterness is coming from, it could be towards your parents, it could be towards your friend, it could be towards your boss, it could be towards your pastor. You will take it into the marriage relationship. You will see that it's like the seed that fell on the rocky soil. You will see that the seed cannot penetrate. There's a rock beneath the surface. So the seed does not penetrate. You will see that you will be loving your spouse through the lenses that are stained with bitterness. You'll be relating with your spouse through stained lenses. And that these lenses are stained with bitterness, painful experiences that you have not gotten over. There's no experience, no offense that we can't get over. It can take time, but we must get over by all means. Because the human being was designed as a house with many doors. So things will enter the house and they must have been designed to live through other exit points. When we close the doors and we trap heads, that's when they fester and grow to become bitterness, and then they start hurting us. It's like swallowing cocaine. People who travel with cocaine, and then they swallow them. When they are delayed, at the airport or at a checkpoint, the thing will burst and then start fighting the internal organs and then they die. So bitterness is also like that. When offenses are trapped, instead of letting them pass through this door and move through this door, one of the ways that you let it move out is by speaking, is by confrontation. It's better to confront the person with what he or she has done and let the person apologize for you to be healed. Or it's better that way than to trap it. Because when you trap it, it is you that the thing is affecting. It is you who will always be affected by the bitterness. Because you are the one harboring the poison. But you will see that you are going to hurt people. Hurting people always end up hurting people. People who are hurting, they'll always end up hurting those around them. We say that sometimes when there's pressure on you, the people who are around you are the ones that are going to receive the, they're going to bear the brunt of the pressure. It's the same thing when you are bitter. So you must deal with bitterness because it's going to affect the foundation of the marriage. Now, apart from that, this one has also got to do with the spiritual side, but then I intentionally separated it from this other one. Make sure if there are issues of spiritual conflicts, like spiritual marriage and stuff like that, must make sure that they are settled thoroughly. Otherwise, they are going to fight against the foundation of the marriage. They are going to fight against the foundation of the marriage because those spirits are anti-marriage spirits. They fight against marriages. They are jealous spirits and they fight against marriages. They incite anger and bitterness and quarreling and all those things, in a person so that the marriage will never know peace. They fight against. So, but there's a way we deal with that because these are spiritual issues, and then we must seek help, make sure that otherwise they are going to fight against the foundation. Most of the divorce issues that we have or we hear of, they can be traced to these things. People do not know, and then they don't work on these things, and then they marry, and you will see that they have to put a lot of effort, but then it's not yielding any fruit, because there's something beneath that is fighting. That is fighting. Now, then apart from that, wrong mindset can also fight against the foundation. What you in your mind, what you are thinking, how you see things. We must evaluate all those things. See, there are some people, for instance, they have trust issues. It's not like that's how they are, but because of certain things that have happened in their lives, they cannot trust anybody. In this life too, you must necessarily trust some people. You will by all means have to trust people. Even in all spheres of life, including business, ministry, there are things that they always involve an element of risk because you must trust people. Now, if you are somebody with trust issues, because maybe you've been through stuff, because you've been disappointed a lot of times in your life, or maybe because the things that have happened in your life, they have damaged anything called trust. People that you trusted, you repose a lot of confidence and trust in, betrayed you. And so because of that, it has damaged anything called trust in your system. You don't trust anybody, and you tend to hold things to your chest. You don't open up to anybody for fear of being ridiculed or fear of being rejected or fear of, the unknown, many things. Those things are going to attack the foundation of your marriage because you've got to be able to trust your spouse. I mean, if you don't trust your spouse, then there's no business being in the marriage. But why don't you trust your spouse? Why you have to trust your spouse in marriage? For the marriage to work, you have to trust your spouse. You have to know that he or she must be somebody you can trust. Say, I trust. But there's some people, they have trust issues. So even if the person is somebody he or she must trust, they will not trust the person. They still have issues with the person because of they having trust issues. They can't trust anybody. If you are like that, you must pray about it. Pray about it and ask God to help you. It's a mindset. It's a mindset that must be worked on. Another mindset that can also fight against the marriage is wrong stereotypes. Stereotypes, stereotype that we bring to the marriage relationship. And these stereotypes, we can work on them by opening up to revelation, opening up to counseling, teaching. There are some people fundamentally, because of their background, They are either male chauvinists or they are either people who reject male authority. Now, that attitude will attack the very foundation of your marriage. Let's say that for the chauvinist, let's say that the person, by reason of the upbringing or socialization orientation, the person possesses this mindset that women are inferior, women cannot reason, they can't think. I mean, people say all sort of nasty things about women. You know, I was talking to a guy one time so many years ago, and he made a comment that was very unfortunate. You know, he said that a woman and a cow and a baby, they have the same brain.
Wow.
They have the same brain. So when you're dealing with a woman, you must know that you're dealing with a baby, a child, or a cow. You don't understand anything. And I said, look at, so I asked the person whether, I said, are you married? He said, yes. I said, do you have a mother? He said, yes. So your mother breastfed you for 9 months or for, I mean, how many? Because I was so surprised. I said, with this mentality, how can you ever succeed in marriage? Because I mean, you have started on a wrong footing that a woman, how can a woman be your helper? Because your mind is like the woman is totally off. So you see that kind of attitude is going to affect the foundation of the marriage. Unless you marry a woman who has serious image issues, who sees herself as worthless and not valuable, you will not be able, the marriage will not last. If you're like that, you will need to marry a woman who sees herself as worthless, who also has been wrongly programmed to see herself as not having any sense or not having, like if you marry the average woman today who is intelligent, a believer who is spirit filled, who is intelligent, the marriage is going to suffer because your mentality is a cake. It's a cake, you know. Then let's say a woman also who rebels against any male authority. Now, such a woman should also take her time and examine herself, because that attitude is going to fight against your marriage. Maybe because of the kind of relationship you saw between your father and your mother, and the kind of poisoning that has taken place from your mother, you have grown to resent male authority and male leadership. Some of them end up becoming lesbians and all that. Some lesbians are people who are rebelling against male authority. Okay, but then if let's say that you have that orientation and then you marry, how are you going to be able to submit to your husband? How are you going to be able to treat your husband with respect? There are some women also who have the mentality that men, it's not only men who are chauvinists, women can also be chauvinists. Some women have a mentality that, oh, a man knows nothing. A man is irresponsible. In fact, one lady that was talking, and she was supposed to be, she said she was a married counselor, and then she was saying that men are naturally promiscuous. A man will always cheat. It doesn't matter what you do, a man will always cheat. So I was, yeah, I was very surprised. Say, is that what a counselor should say? I mean, that and for all you know, that is her orientation. That's what her mother has told her. That's her mother's experience with her father, and the mother has passed it on to her and told her that men are not reliable. No matter what you do for a man, he will still cheat. Now, so that's her mentality. So how if you meet a man who is like that, fine. But if you meet the average spiritual man who is not like that, you are going to create problems. We are not going to be able to trust him. Anything he does, you will think that he is trying to cheat, because your mind is like, men must cheat, and you are looking forward to that, and you are also poised, for action. to fight against any act of cheating. It's going to create problem for the marriage. It's going to breed misunderstanding. It's going to work against the foundation, the very foundation of the marriage. So those mindsets are very, very important. Very important. Now, another attitude or wrong mindset is the selfish attitude that reflects in the question, what can he or she do for me? Without the corresponding question, what can I do for him or her? See, it was William Shakespeare who said that if you don't have expectations, you will not be disappointed. And wrong and unrealistic expectation is what gives birth to disappointment. Because you are entering into the marriage and you have your set of expectations. This is what he or she must do for me, but you don't also have what you are doing in the person's life. It should be a two-way something. What am I willing to do? How much am I willing to contribute to make this person's life better? While the person too is thinking of how he or she must also contribute to make your life better. What can we both do to ease each other's burden, to make life a little bit more comfortable for each other? So once you have the selfish mentality that, oh, he must do this, he must do that, it is likely to affect the marriage. There are some men, for instance, who have the mentality that when you are able to depend on a woman and she takes care of you, it's an honor for a woman to take care of a man. People in relationships, not marriage, relationships, there are some relationships where the man can be priding himself with the fact that, oh, as for me, women take care of me. I don't get to spend. They so much love me that they spend on me. They shower money on me and all that. And you see that he's taking from this one, that one. Sometimes it could be sponsored by a wrong mindset, and the person thinks that it's a woman that must take care of me. I must not also think of how I can take care of the woman. The woman I must depend on her, and I must. There are men like that. There are men who are lazy, and they are lazy not because they are weak or because they can't do anything, but it's that mentality that's crippling them. That mentality. There are some people, for instance, in our part of the world, who still hold on to that archaic mentality that you are a man, you've given birth, but then they still believe that the children are not their children. Because, for instance, in our part of the world, like in the Akan setting, the lineage is matrilineal. So they believe that the children belong to the woman and the woman's family. So in the olden days, the men were not the ones responsible for their children. It was their uncles. Their uncles were the ones who were really taking, because they thought that the woman, the children belong to their mother's side. But that's contrary to Bible thinking. Bible thinking is not like that. So if you have that mentality and then you bring it to marriage, and because of that, you don't show commitment to your own children because you think you are laboring in another man's field. Meanwhile, you are the one who produced the children, but you are thinking that they are not yours because they will go to their mother's side. There are some men with that kind of archaic mentality, and if you happen to marry somebody who is also thinking like that, then fine. But if you marry a normal person, you are going to create problems. You're going to create, you're going to create problems for the marriage if you marry a normal person, especially a believer who is spiritual. You are going to create problems because that mentality will not augur well for the smooth running of the marriage. So we must take note of uh, all these mindset. They are wrong mindset. Now, some people also enter into marriage with a mindset that It is a struggle, and you must outsmart the other party. You must outwit them. For instance, when you are going to marry, certain they will tell you that okwa ekabadia enu what for you that kind of. Yes, so it's like the person goes to marriage with that mentality. So the person is not really, he cannot really bond with the partner, with the husband, because the whole thing is I'm going there to bring something home. No, it's that should not be your mindset. That I'm going to the marriage to use the marriage as a platform to enrich my home. No, you are going to create another home, and this home is going to be your real home, because this way you will call home. A man will leave the father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and the two shall be one. So they will make a home that is separate and distinct from the home of their parent. And that is your first home, that's your real home. And so that mentality that, oh, the marriage will be a platform that will help my home is also wrong. Is also wrong. You must arm yourself with a mindset that I'm going to create a home, and I'm responsible for that home. I'm going to make sure that whatever it takes, I'm going to make sure that I'm able to do my part to make sure that I have a happy home. So these things will go into the foundation of the marriage. Will go into the foundation of the marriage, and when we have that those attitudes, they eat the foundation, and you will not know, but a time comes when you will see that trust has been eaten, you will see reliability has been eaten, you will see acceptance has been eaten, you will see that even harmony in the marriage has been eaten by these things, because these things they eat the foundation of the marriage. So you may be doing a lot of things, building a lot of things, trying to put up the structure of the marriage and all that, but the foundation is weak. And the Bible says, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? What can the righteous do? Then let me also end with this, touch on this aspect. There are some people before they marry, in the relationship, we have what we call putting your best foot first. So they sort of they conform, they change. I see, you cannot change your personality forever. You can't behave in a way that is inconsistent with your personality or nature forever. Now, one thing that we must understand is that your personality it's neither good, I mean it's not bad, it's natural. Your personality is natural, it's not bad. You don't have to conform to a different personality just because you want to win somebody's attention or approval. Because you will see that the person will see that he or she married the wrong person. And let's say that you are the type that your personality, that you are easygoing, you are that type, you are easygoing. I mean, that's your personality. There are some people who are reserved and very meticulous, methodical, calculating. But there are some people too who are risk takers. They take risks, they are easygoing, the flow, And so, and neither of them is bad. It's just a matter of personality, and you have to know and then channel your strength, and know your strong areas, and channel them to put them to the right use. If you change, and only for you to revert to your original self in a marriage, you will see that your spouse would have married the wrong person, in quotes, because this is not how I saw you to be, but now you have changed. It's like now you have changed. So let the person know who you are right before the marriage. The way you laugh, the way you talk, the way you are. I mean, don't hide it. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to put up some facade that will let a person see you in a different light. No, 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 no. Let what is in you come out. Your natural self. Natural self. That is better. I mean, if the person you are going to marry knows you to be somebody who is plain plain, I mean that is better. It's better if you are plain plain. It's better. Don't hide it. I mean, it's not bad. That's your temperament. Now, there's some people too who are not plain plain. They are also not plain, not plain. So you also don't hide it. That's your temperament. Otherwise, it will be like Jacob who married Leah in the night, and because he married Leah in the night, he didn't know he had married the wrong person. The following morning, then he discovered that he had married the wrong woman. If the marriage had taken place in the day, I believe that he would have known exactly what or who he was getting married to.
Or she will see her on social media. She will see her on social
Yeah, that's these days. People see people on social media and then this. No, but that's not it. I mean, for social media, it's just about image, and all that. So we need to have all these attitudes, wrong attitudes out if we want to lay a very good foundation for our marriage. So I will end it here, and then we'll continue next week.
Okay. Whoa. That's an outburst of I don't know where to start from. Deacon, are you here?
I'm here. Oh, I'm here, Papa. I'm here. Wow.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of information.
Wow.
Daddy, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know. Deacon, you want to start or
I kind of want to bring the guys a question from the platform.
okay.
Yeah. Papa, someone is asking on the platform, is it advisable to talk to your current interest about your ex-fiance? Is it advisable to talk to them about those kind of things?
Yeah. It's advisable. They know you have been in other relationships, and then also sometimes they may want to find out why the relationship did not stand. Okay, but then what is not good is to use that relationship as a yardstick or a benchmark or a reference point in dealing with the current relationship. But because if there has been a relationship between you and this person, and you have met this other new person, there's nothing wrong letting the person know that, oh, I was in a relationship with this person, but it didn't work out and all that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Awesome. Wow.
Okay.
I've seen that. That is very powerful because it kind of goes back to what you were saying about not having anything to hide. That aspect of being transparent is very, very truthful. Because even sometimes maybe they didn't have any problems that came about or in that relationship, but the fact that he or she is aware that this is the person that used to be going out kind of actually prepares him or her in when they get to, you don't know when they may be a party or something, they can definitely meet. It could be maybe in church, how they are going to behave around such people when the situation comes. And then instead of just letting everything go and then maybe the ex fiance or whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, maybe passing some things, doing some weird stuff at the person. He has no idea why is this person doing it. So it just kind of helps your significant other to really prepare and put a feet down. So it really does help. That is so powerful.
And as much as possible to like the person must try to make sure that he has settled the issue with the ex, so that he's not spewing bitterness, harboring bitterness against him or her, whilst also meeting this other person. So that, because if there's no peace, it's going to run into this other relationship too.
Husband snatcher.
Yeah.
And I think I like the part that it is related that you cannot base or conclude on a person's future according to or in respect to the relationship they had before. With someone. Because that may be the definition of how that relationship was handled. But you have the chance, you can. And then there are times I see that mostly when people also get to know at times the reason why it's hard for people to voice it out is when people get to know maybe they were dating someone lesser or higher, then the immediate relationship begins to be in a shaking mode, because something like when the person is societally, or maybe let me use that word, societally appears to be lower in status, you begin to see that the current guy or the current lady begins to have some chip on the shoulder over the relationship, and begins to trash talk the person into. And then when the person is also higher, then this guy also feels like, or this lady also feels like, then I can never even measure up. Then I can never be, because I know this person is, so.
So a lot will depend on the person, for instance, if let's say the guy was in a relationship with another lady who is of a higher status, as we're saying, then now the relationship is no more. Then he has met this lady who is not as high as this other lady. It is the only person that can make this new one secure is a guy. But the guy was the same person who went for this one, and he has come for you. So the assurance that he gives you and how he helps you gain confidence, how he relates with you, will let you be assured that, he has really found a jewel, a pearl, and he really cherishes you. And when you get that, you will not be thinking about the other person, because the person treats you as you are special, and he's so happy to have found you. There's no way your mind will be going to the other person. But if the person comes your way telling you that, I dated this person, and you are not even like him or her and all that, that's condescending, and the person will rather feel insecure.
It's kind of very interesting, Eddie. I kind of wonder as to, and when you were talking earlier, as to some of the guys saying, I didn't even marry somebody that I even wanted.
Yeah.
And I was kind of laughing. I was like, how does certain men like that even get to a place that I just married you? They are using God to kind of pass the blame like that.
Yes.
I most of the time I don't get like the maturity level where they find themselves. I don't even know how they come about. The only person who is certified to use that blame game is Adam, and and he's long gone. And after that, the Lord says he that finds a wife. So I don't understand how certain men get to that place and they are using God as a crouch and they are passing the blame game to. I just don't get that part, how that comes about.
Yeah, I think it's just unfortunate, because like, people have various things they attribute to God and all that, and people sometimes have the mind that God will always have to prevent you from getting what you like or something like that, so that will be a cross you are bearing. People have that fundamental mentality.
That's a heavy cross, though.
Yeah, that's a heavy cross, man.
Yeah. Because
that's a huge cross.
How can you live with somebody you truly don't like, and then you are saying, God said, God too has said that He will find a wife. So
That's a
He is
good thing.
just waiting for you to find. So He's not the one going to find for you anymore. So, but people have that, but it's not right. And I was even saying that, granted, let's assume that even God said it. And then, so why do you say it to the hearing of your spouse? I mean, you should never let a person hear. It weakens the foundation.
It kind of makes me think like, on, like you're saying, the aspect of you even bringing it up.
Yeah.
Whether you had any ulterior motive that you were tired of this relationship, or you kind of was looking for something, you actually bring forth that kind of connotation for the person to think that you are fed up with where you are right now. It looked like you are just looking to move on. And most of the time when people either, they may not even be cheating, but you tend to find out people who are cheating in a relationship tend to kind of put forth certain behavior and kind of attributes like that. You are not the first person that I even be. So it brings a whole lot of things across the boundary, and the person begin to get suspicious about so many different things.
Exactly.
It's very unfortunate. Wow.
Okay. Okay. And then there is a part that I think most of times I have seen situations whereby, especially in America, I've seen that situation with young men and young women. Most Africans or immigrants, when they come in, and possibly at times because of the issue of documentations and all of that, at times you see that a black guy, an immigrant, gets married to someone that has documents and all of that. And in those situations, I have seen that at times the young men marry the women only for the documents and tend to abuse them when they have gotten their papers or when they have gotten. So now it has kind of laid back certain women or some of the women. And even when a guy is genuine or genuine, it is hard for the women to be able to discern, to know that if this guy really. So on the issue whereby you were talking about comparison, I don't know if that situation, when you begin to see that, because I've had a couple of cases where either the man is comparing the guy, the woman, to some people that did that to her, or some people that even did that in their family, or some people that did that to their friends. And I don't know if that kind of comparison also really affects the foundation of the relationship.
Yeah, in the first place, those kind of relationships, I thought they were like arrangements. They were not out of real conviction or love or based on any solid ground.
At
They are
times,
just arrangements to get papers.
At times, some of them are just arrangement to get papers, but at times, some of them too, a young man can find a young lady and they really like each other and they get married. But I think I was in a church one time with a young lady who married a young man with her documents. And after the marriage, it was in my eyes, or I heard part of it, how the young lady was kind of boxing the young man around, because mostly the one that files for you with their documents and that stuff, they tend to have an upper hand on you in so many things. So then I began to see how the young lady was boxing this guy around, moving from here to there and kind of threatening. And in that situation, even if the person is doing some things wrong, you can't really say, because it's like your being in America hangs on that, on the mood of the person. So some of them are genuine, whereby the person, they like each other and they get involved, but one doesn't have a document. And some of them too, they are just arranged. So if there is an arranged, then it's okay, because we know it's just an arranged. But how about the part that someone genuinely likes the other, but then because of experiences, they are scared to, and then they always make that face that with a, oh, what are you not going to behave like this one who did this to this person? You know, that kind of comparison. I just wanted you to throw light on it if it affects the basis of the relationship.
Yeah, sure. It can really affect the foundation, and even in the first place, it depends on how the two of them met, the conviction they had that they were supposed to marry. If they were Christians, the conviction they had were supposed to marry will definitely go beyond. I don't have papers, you have papers. It will be based on something more solid, you know, like I feel that I want to live the rest of my life with you. You also are convinced. So the paper issue will be a bonus. It will just be an additional issue. It will never be a basis for the marriage. You know, the basis of the marriage is your conviction that I've seen this Christian sister, Christian brother. We are both convinced that we can live together. You know, I've prayed about it. She has also prayed about it. We are convinced and all that, and we are related with each other. We like each other. We can make a happy. I mean, that one goes beyond just paper matter, you know. And so for that one, there will be an element of trust. You would have known the person. You know the person that, oh, this person is not just in for to have fun. This person is a serious-minded person who really wants to settle down in a marriage. What happens? What is happening is that one of them might have suffered at the hands of somebody else who just came for papers and abused him or her, and they met this one too. There was not much, interaction. They did not really get to know the person's heart. They were not really convicted, but somehow they fell in love with the person, and so they still entertain the fear that, oh, what if this person also ends up doing the same thing? There are people who, because of that, they don't want any nonsense. What they do is that they'll just charge you. You pay their money. If after the papers, if you want to marry them, another issue. I know people like that who you have to pay the money. I mean, I will charge you such and such an amount. After you have paid your money, if you want us to continue and then marry, I mean, fine. If not, then go your way. That's what they do to protect themselves. But if you are applying basic Christian principles that leads to marriage, then I believe that there will not be too much of a problem.
Okay. I think the experiences people have had in the wake of, or in the process of documentational relationship, it has really affected a lot of perspectives when it comes to people doing anything at all on the basis.
Yeah.
I know someone that helped a guy to get a document because he did not have, so they were married. Okay, now they married, and after some time, this lady met a different person. Now this one, she really, they were together. They were to marry, and the guy, the guy she also met, they didn't have papers, and so there has to be a divorce, and like a year after before, and the one that she helped with the documents did not want the divorce. Right? Oh yeah. She didn't want to, because according to her, oh, you already collected your money and all of that. So I am not going to divorce you. When you happen to be a minister, you kind of hear this kind of information almost all the time. People calling you about it. So at times it can be very scary. And that's why I'm asking about the comparison aspect, because it's like, oh, this one did this to me. But then at times you can meet a genuine person, and then the relationship is in limbo because, okay, what if I help him and he do the same thing?
Yeah.
But maybe he will also not do the same thing.
Yes, because human beings are different. So we need to assess the person based on his or her merits.
Yeah.
Don't compare with another person.
Yeah. And I see that most of the time we experience something, there will have to be one person that will come and make the difference. You know, yeah. But if we believe that what we have been experiencing, everyone coming is going to be doing the same thing, then okay. All right. Any other question? I think that's Dennis is there. Okay. Dennis, God bless you. I see a whole bunch of typing there. Hey. All right. So God bless everyone and everyone that was able to tune in. Deacon, you want to say something?
Daddy, we are blessed. This is really, really powerful.
I nearly named it the 12 rules. I guess I got 13, so I kind of the 12 bases. Yeah, this information are very serious.
Yes, this is some serious apokonkonompa to have. You know, we who are already in the covenant relationship is helping to spice things up. Because I believe this, the things you are sharing with us are things that go beyond even after we've crossed we jump over the boom to even help us so that whatever mindsets that we may have, or whatever may be going, we can help us to shape and to protect the marriage relationship so that what God wants to do, he'll be able to do. So God richly bless you for the insights. That is so powerful, so rich, seriously rich.
Yeah. You know, Daddy, I think I'll finish it on this one. Thank you. And I think that the part where you were talking about the type of information we release to our friends and our family from maybe our spouse, that part is very, very vital. It has kind of shattered many relationships. You know, the person is now coming into the family and you already told the person that, oh, this person doesn't like you. You know, this person doesn't like you, so be careful. And you know, the person is already going with the material, with the motive that your uncle doesn't like me. Your friend is a bad person, so they are never going to see the person in a good way. That information, I believe, I've kind of kept it in my today. Or
I mean, that one is it is also serious because you don't even help the person, because how are they supposed to protect or prepare for that? You don't know how their reaction are going to be. They don't know these people, so it creates a lot of things. So how do I prepare when I meet them? And they might jump to the wrong place.
Yes. And sometimes you will not help the person at all.
All right. Well, God willing, we'll be back on Monday with Ministry Monday. And Ministry Monday is the life of the believer. It's not only for those who are called to preach the gospel. It is the life of the believer. And then this Thursday is Relationship Thursday. God bless you for staying tuned, and we'll be back once again in your way. God